Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, December 8th meeting of the Tuckahoe Village Board of Trustees. I'm going to ask our post commander, Mr. Laurie, I call him Mr. Laurie, Anthony Laurie, if he would please lead us in the pledge of the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two.
Thank you, Commander. Would the Deputy Clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Quigley.
Present.
Trustee Luisi.
Present.
Trustee Alfasi.
Present.
Mayor Eklund.
I am here tonight. I have one appointment to make this evening, which is a mayoral appointment, and this is going to be the appointment of Charles Du Chateau as member of the Tuckahoe Housing Authority for a term to expire July 5th, 2018. Charles will be replacing Bill Fleming, who resigned from the board this past October. We have a presentation tonight. We actually have our Eastchester Town Councilman, Luigi Marcoches, here. So I'm going to ask him to come on up, and he's our first presentation, if he'd like to talk to us about some budget work they've been doing up at Town Hall.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, all. Good evening. I'm going to be very brief, but you are right. We just concluded our budget season, and we have adopted our budget as of our last meeting, which was last week. And just a couple of kind of notes here that I have, and something that maybe you have to look forward to. Hopefully, a couple of good things, actually, a couple of good trends. What the town of Eastchester saw as far as sales tax receipts is actually a tick up. So it went from, roughly speak, I actually have a chart here, so I don't know the exact numbers, but definitely the trend has been up. So you'll see from like 2012 to 2013 to 2014, they've been going up. So hopefully that trend is consistent with what's going on here in the village. And same thing with mortgage tax receipts. And I would add with the sales tax, that number actually came back pretty nicely from where it was in 2000 and middle of 2009, when we saw kind of a low point in the market and all. So it's come back pretty nicely, higher than it's been in the last 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty nice. Also, the mortgage tax, that's come back, but not as much. Back in 2005, the town was collecting about $2.5 million annually. It's about $1.25 million today. So, but that's up from less than $500,000 in 2009. So sales tax, mortgage tax, both on the uptick, and the contribution to the retirement system for the first time in a long time actually came down a little bit. Not by a lot, but it didn't go up your 10, 12, 20% that you've been seeing in recent years. It actually came down a little bit, so that was also a bit of a help. So we're also happy to say that there were no layoffs in this year's budget, and most of our employees, except for the department heads, got raises. So we're happy that most employees got that raise. We wish they all could have, but maybe next year. And then, so I guess what that all means for the village of Tuckahoe is that the assessment remained fairly low. The average annual increase for a Tuckahoe resident, just for their Eastchester portion of the taxes, is going to be $7.46 for the year. That works out to about 62 cents a month. So that's pretty small. And I think the overall budget for the town of Eastchester that the average Tuckahoe resident pays represents 1.5% of the overall budget. So it's a small little sliver, but still helps it to keep it as small as possible, the increase. But for that, for those taxes that the Tuckahoe residents pay, they get services such as senior services, Meals on Wheels for anyone that needs them. We share a tax assessor that he does a lot of the tax assessor work for both the village and the town. We continue to fund the Tuckahoe Community Center, and we're happy to do that. And again, we thank you for your help, particularly this year with the senior citizens. That's been a great help to us. And also this year, and over the past couple of years, we've been investing some money in renovating the Parkway Oval, we're making some improvements. We've made significant improvement to the drainage system there, particularly around the ball field. There was always flooding, especially around the dugouts. So we put some drainage in there. And Frank DeMarco, your head of Department of Public Works, was a tremendous help to us, and we thank him very much for that. And we also look forward to continual improvements there. We hope that, this year we're going to put some money in the budget, or in the capital budget, I should say, for new bleachers. So hopefully we'll be able to work with the village on that project as well. And then I also wanted to stress Lake Isle. Lake Isle is a tremendous asset of the town. And of course, the two villages are part of the town and really should participate in what's going on there. We've improved the golf course tremendously over the last 3 or 4 years. I think it looks great. The feedback that we've gotten is very positive regarding that. We also have year-round tennis now. There's a tennis bubble there. So if anyone on a really cold night like tonight wants to play tennis, you can go up there, talk to Sport Time. You can register. You can play tennis all year round. And I know that Trustee Quigley is interested in this one, but we are working on the indoor pool. And that's a little bigger project, but that's definitely something that's on the blackboard, and something that we're going to work real hard on through the course of this year to see if we can get moving forward. And then obviously whatever the build out takes on that. But that's definitely on our radar. And what we're really looking forward to is the catering. They're just about finished. They finished the main ballroom. They finished the entryway where they're going to have, if you remember it, you kind of walked in, it was a big entryway, and there was sort of a bar at the very, very end of it. What they're doing is they're shortening the entryway, making it still a nice size entryway lobby, but they're building out the space directly behind it, and they're making the big room back there as well. So if somebody wants to have a cocktail party, whatever. So that's done as well. And the kitchen's been completely redone as well. So I would say, for the first stage of the project is probably a week or two away from being completed. They're going to start booking parties now and having events. And then stage 2 and 3 are to follow, and that's going to include the room that overlooks the terrace room that overlooks the pool, and it's going to include the build out of the restaurant. So I think that's pretty much it. That's all I have. So if there's
I'll
any
tell you what,
questions-
you're bringing good news. That's fantastic. 60 cents a month?
Yeah.
I'll take that. You can bring that news to us every year, Lou. That's great. Thanks for giving us a heads up too, because what you're going through is what we're going to start to go through in another month. So very interesting. We saw our sales tax also picking up. It's funny, you and I always used to look at that mortgage tax number back when people were refinancing like crazy. And we've seen that that's not really recovered as much. But I can't tell you how happy I am to hear that the unfunded mandate of the pension cost, that's stabilized. Because that's been a crippler for us for the last few years, and you guys as well.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
it's been tough. I mean, as well as anyone, it's
Yeah.
been a significant increase every year.
Yeah.
And just to have that stay sort of flat, actually down, I think it was down 70,000 for us. That's a real win. Makes things a lot easier.
Oh, boy,
So,
that's for sure.
yeah.
Well, happy days are here again, I guess we could say that.
We'll take what we can get.
Yeah. Thank you very
Thank-
much,
thank
Lou.
you very
Appreciate it.
much.
Thanks for coming
Thank
down. Public hearings. We have one public hearing tonight. We haven't had a public hearing in a while. This is public hearing for local law number 6 of 2014, a local law amending section 21-119A of the Village Code of the Village of Tuckahoe entitled Parking Permit and Meter Zones, regulating parking permit and meter zones. Do I have a motion to open this public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisee.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. This public hearing is now open, and just to touch on the background on this, this is a public hearing for a local law we're going to adopt tonight, which is to address the meter parking availability that's on Marbledale Road. And I'll ask our counselor, I always like to see if the counselor wants to weigh in on a local law.
So what this will do is, it will basically make Marbledale Road from Fisher to Main Street a meter zone. And what happened, I think what prompted this was the planning board, when the ice rink went in, am I on there?
Yeah, just grip,
Okay.
just hold it, good.
So what happened, what prompted this was the planning board, when the ice rink went in, required the applicant to put pay for 10 meters in that spot. So we would need to change that specific zone for them to make to a meter zone. So instead of just piecemealing it, as all these developments go in, we thought it'd be easier just to make the whole street, I know with the chief's recommendation, the whole street a meter zone. So as these developments go in, we don't have to come back and say, okay, now this 50 feet of Marbledale is going to be meter zone, and then keep changing it. So we're just going to make from Fisher to Maine a meter zone.
Sounds like good sense, makes good sense. Is there anybody from the public who would like to address this on this particular local law?
Actually, if I could just, just one point of clarification. How many actual meters are going to be, are actually already installed on the street, I believe now,
I think
right?
there are 10 installed per the planning board's requirement for the ice rink.
So just so the public understands, we're not metering.
The whole thing.
The whole
It
thing
gives you the
right
ability
now.
to in the
Right.
future easier. But right now it's just a 10, and I think they're already in right in front of the ice rink.
Yeah, I think they've been in for a little bit. Anybody from the public want to talk about this? And if not, any other board members? No, fairly simple enough. Then I'll ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. And that's going to bring us to our first resolution, which is Resolution Number 1, adopting local law number 6 of the year 2014. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Adoption of minutes, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of November 10, 2014. Do I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Do we have any correspondences this month? We do not. Nobody wrote to us. That's going to bring us to the first opportunity to address the board on anything that's on our agenda tonight. Anybody has anything to talk about that's on our agenda? And if not, we will have another opportunity to speak in short order. Resolution number 2 is approving a certiorari settlement for Marbledale Associates, 174 Marbledale Road, Tuckahoe, designated as Section 39, Block 3, Lot 7A for the years 2010 through 2014 in the amount of $9,717.02. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 3 is to provide free short-term street parking in the business districts of the village to encourage local shopping during the holidays. The meters will be bagged from December 22nd through December 25th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We do this every year. It helps out our local businesses. We bag the meters and let the customers get in there and do some, hopefully shop local.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 4 is authorizing the mayor, administrator, and Public Works General Foreman to register with New York Alert for public notification to the New York State DEC and other interested parties in the event of a sewage leak, God forbid. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor?
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 5 is considering the authorization of the issuance of a bond anticipation note, otherwise known as a BAN, in the amount of $1,040,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
And a little bit of discussion on this. We have planned actually on bonding, or what we're calling here banning, which is bond anticipation note, for quite some time now. We've undertaken some construction projects. This great video that you're actually watching us on right now was one of the projects that we undertook. And so whenever we do what we call a capital improvement project, most of the time these are projects that are outside of our normal operating budget. So we will borrow money on a long-term basis for the repayment of some of these projects. There is another item in here, which is a garbage truck. That's another very large expense that we will always, the village historically, and we support the decision of borrowing for that large piece of equipment over a period of 10 years or so, because that tool, that truck, is actually servicing the residents for the next 10 years. Actually, in our case, we squeeze close to 20 years out of some of these larger vehicles. So that's the thought process for when we have to go out and borrow money. We also have some other projects in here. There is additional funding for the Fisher Avenue parking lot project. We have some computer upgrades that we're going to be undertaking. The community center roof, we borrowed some money towards that project last year. We're borrowing the balance of it. And we have a list in our agenda of some of these other items. But the biggest one that we are always faced with is repayment of tax certiorari payments that we make out. We had one on our agenda tonight. So that's where the sum of this money is coming from.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 6 is approving payment of vouchers in the amount of $445,698, consisting of abstract number 26 for $1,152, number 27 for $287,838, number 28 for $2,096, and abstract number 29 for $154,610. The three largest invoices paid were $198,084 for a progress payment on the Fisher Avenue parking lot project, $65,550 for a progress payment on the community center roof project, and $19,740 for the September and October New York State share of fines and fees collected by the Tuckahoe Village Justice Court. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 7 is authorizing the closing of Capital Project 2012-0063, Public Works Vehicles, and allocating the remaining balance of $27,525.30 as follows. A transfer of $9,836 to Capital Project 2011-0057, Tuckahoe Youth Bureau, which will close out that project. A transfer of $2,503 to Capital Project 2012-61, Village Hall Security System, which is going to close out that project. A transfer of $10,888 to Capital Project 2012-64, Police Department Vehicles, which will close out that project. And a transfer of $146.30 to Capital Project 2014-66, Fisher Avenue Park Project, which will close that out also. And then a final transfer of the balance of $4,149.40, which will then fall into our general fund. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
It feels good to close out these many projects.
Yes.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
Very much feels good. In favor. Resolution number 8 is approving a partnership with Lehman College to collaboratively share GPS and GIS information to update the Village of Tuckahoe files by interns completing their geospatial science degree. Well, that's pretty good. I definitely didn't go to school for that. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So moved.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 9 is approving the use of Depot Square on Sunday, December 21st for a menorah lighting ceremony to begin at 5 p.m. The rain location is going to be the Tuckahoe Community Center. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 10 is authorizing the village offices to close on Friday, December 26th in honor of the Christmas holiday. We're very happy to do that. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luisi.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Resolution number 11 is approving an amendment to the Village of Tuckahoe fee schedule as follows. The Tuckahoe Community Center birthday party fee is going to go for Eastchester residents from $40 to $50 with a 2-hour minimum. Non-residents is going to go to $75 for a 2-hour minimum. And the weekend rate for an Eastchester resident, Eastchester meaning Eastchester, Tuckahoe, or Bronxville, of course, will go to $100 for a 2-hour minimum. And for a non-resident on the weekend, it's going to go to $150 for a 2-hour minimum. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Trustee Quigley.
In favor.
Trustee Luise.
In favor.
Trustee Alfasi.
In favor.
Mayor Eklund.
In favor. Yes, and actually, we're going to skip out of order here just a little bit before we get to our department reports. And I'm going to ask, we have some very special people from the Community Fund who are here. Catherine, would you like to come on up and talk to us a little bit? Yes, thank you. I'm so happy to see that thermometer rising on our fence down there.
So am I. Very pleased. Good evening, everyone. I'm Catherine Alcalt. I am the president of the board of the Community Fund of Bronxville, Eastchester, and Tuckahoe. And I'm here this evening just to tell you what we're up to, where we are in our campaign. So it'll just take a minute. We are here to announce that we have officially kicked off our annual campaign. Every year at this time, we mail our appeal letter to residents of Tuckahoe, Eastchester, and Bronxville and ask for their continued support of the Community Fund. This is the only time of year that we solicit funds on behalf of our agencies, and the dollars that we raise through our annual campaign go directly to local nonprofit agencies that provide vital services and programs to our 3 towns. The Community Fund has had a very long history in our community. Founded in 1919, the fund has supported qualified agencies and programs that provide services to the residents of Tuckahoe, Eastchester, and Bronxville. These services have helped thousands of our neighbors at little or no expense to those least able to pay. With declining government support, these agencies depend on Community Fund dollars more than ever. Many of them would not exist without our support. And while the landscape of our community has changed since 1919, the needs of our residents certainly have not. Today, through the generous support of our communities, the funds raised support 24 social service agencies and programs that provide services directly to the residents of Tuckahoe, Eastchester, and Bronxville. Some of these agencies may be familiar to community members, while others may not as be well known. But all of these provide critical services targeted to our needs. Some examples of agencies we support right here include the Senior Citizens Council, the Counseling Center, the Bereavement Center of Westchester, the Cancer Survivorship Program at Lawrence Hospital, the Tuckahoe Trolley, the Free Flu Shot Program provided by Lawrence Hospital but funded by the Community Fund. And if you've ever needed an ambulance, chances are you rode in a Community Fund purchased ambulance. So I'd just like to conclude by thanking those of you that have already made your contribution. Your early support helps us determine the level of financial support we can provide the 24 agencies and programs that service our area. However, we are only halfway through to our goal. I strongly encourage those that have not yet made a donation to please support the Community Fund this year. A contribution to the Community Fund is a fantastic return on our dollars. What better way to ensure that we continue to live in a safe and desirable community? Every dollar that is raised by the Community Fund stays right here in our towns. So it's a really special organization and does great things in our community. So thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Catherine. Is there a way, if somebody didn't get a solicitation letter, a way that they can contribute? Do you take credit cards? Do you have a website?
We do. It's thecommunityfund.org, and you can definitely donate right there online. There's a big red button that allows you to do that, and we're continually doing mailings. And on that website, you'll also find our office number that you can call. You'll find Melinda Burge, who's with me this evening, who would be glad to take your donation. But we're about halfway there, and we're working hard, so we're excited.
Well, we can't thank you enough. You know, you've been a very great supporter of programs that we have in the village, some which you mentioned a lot. Our police department, underwriting our trolley was a huge benefit to us, so, and we appreciate that, which helps our seniors, so our senior community. It's a great organization, and it's very nice to hear today that every dollar is staying right here.
Staying right here.
So that's wonderful. Thank
So
you,
it
Catherine.
benefits all of us. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it very much.
You.
That's going to bring us to our departmental reports to the board, and we always start with our police chief, John Costanza. Thank you, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board. I'd like just to take this opportunity first to thank Catherine and Melinda, since they're here, and give them a plug if I could, and ask our residents to please donate and support the cause of the Community Fund. The Community Fund for more than 10 years has sponsored some of the youth programs at the police department, which we could not have done without their support. They support and help with the DARE program, with our Explorer program. When we first started that program, we started it from scratch, and we really needed some seed money to get it going. The Community Fund stepped up, gave us a substantial grant to start it up, and has since helped finance that throughout. So the Explorer program has been really successful in getting our young people involved in the police department, learning about law enforcement, giving them an appreciation for what police officers do. And again, we couldn't do that without the Community Fund, as well as the Cops for Kids program. They help with our open house and many of our outreach programs throughout the year. So I couldn't not take the opportunity to please give them a plug and ask our residents to support them. I just have a couple of announcements. The winter parking regulations are about to kick in. The snow zone signs are going up. They started this morning. They'll be going up throughout the week. So whenever snow is in the forecast, people cannot park in those particular areas and until after 12 hours after it has stopped. So we'd ask that people follow those signs. It's the only way that our Department of Public Works could get through those streets and facilitate snow removal. So those signs will be going up. The alternate side of the street parking signs, as those goes up, as the snow zone signs go up, alternate side of the street parking signs come down. So we ask residents to watch as those signs, they should be completed by week's end. So the alternate side of the street parking regulations pretty much are halted until mid-March or so when the snow zone signs come down. No parking in our business districts begins on December 15th through March 1st. So there's no parking between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. on those streets. It's generally Marbledale Road and then pretty much all of the metered parking areas throughout the village. And again, that's to facilitate snow removal overnight. And there are still some small areas of the village that have no parking from December 15th to March 1st, and that's pretty self-explanatory. There's not many. Most of the streets have since gone to snow zones, but there are still pockets of streets that have that particular regulation still in place. And then lastly, I just want to let everyone know that the Tuckahoe Police Organization has their annual Children's Christmas Party. It's this Friday, December 12th, from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Tuckahoe Community Center. It's for children 9 years of age and younger. There'll be a magic show, and then, of course, they have an opportunity to meet Santa. And there'll be gifts for all the children who come and participate. So that's completely sponsored by the police organization, and we invite families and the children to please come. It's a very enjoying event. And I just like to take this opportunity to wish the board and all of our residents a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and the best wishes for the coming year.
Thank you, Chief, and you too.
Thank you. Same
Appreciate it. I would ask Frank DeMarco to come on up and talk, but he can't because he has no voice. So our village administrator, David, I think you have something to read on. Do you have a?
Do you want to do it now?
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we'll read it for Frank.
Okay, yeah. This is a for Frank Nero, and this is actually for the village itself because it's a big thank you to Lehman College. You passed a resolution earlier with the the kids doing the geospatial engineering for their major. But they're actually going to come in here and actually go to do our fire hydrants on our village trees and some of our underground infrastructure. And it really helps the village out to be able to map a lot of this information. So they're actually going to come here. They're going to have to spend 150 mandatory hours, and it's all free to the village. So it's a benefit to the village, and we thank Frank for setting it up with Lehman College and the students that are going to come here and do it.
Very nice. And thank you, Frank. And Frank did a wonderful job this weekend. His department did a fantastic job with the Winterfest, and that's probably part of the reason why he has no voice now. So. Does our treasurer have anything to report tonight, or no? We're okay there. Camille, anything? Gary, our village attorney?
Well, I know the deputy mayor always says what's coming up with the planning and zoning board. He's not here tonight. So the big project is the proposed hotel is going to be before the planning board next week. They came to our workshop, spent a lengthy time at the workshop. They're going to do a lengthy presentation at the planning board. So if anyone's interested in seeing what's going to happen down there, it's going to be a very interesting meeting to watch and participate in.
When is that one coming up?
It's next week. I believe it's Tuesday, the
Okay.
16th, but it's going to be on the website. I think it's the 6th. I think
All
it's
right,
next
excellent. Good.
Tuesday the 16th.
Yeah.
Anything from our?
Sure. A few updates. This may seem like a long time ago, and I bet you for some of the commuters it's not that long ago, but the Fisher Lot is open now. It looks amazing. I got to thank Frank DeMarco for really coordinating that program because it looks amazing down there. It's it's good for the environment. It's a great project, and I was actually happy that was one of my first projects to kind of see that the village does, and it was just amazing. The new roof on the Tuckahoe Community Center / library is going up. It's nearly finished, so that's a good thing for them. A new business opened up Marbledale Road. The ice skating rinks, home ice advantage is now open on Marbledale, which is really great for that road right there. And I thought that would be interesting that they make sure the residents know that that's open. We've been working on the audit. John Pinto's treasurer and I have been working on the audit with the auditors. They actually came in here, met with us earlier last week, and that should be available to the board and public by the end of this month. I have to say that I thought Winterfest went amazing. I didn't get to go there on Sunday, but Saturday night, even though it was raining, there was a lot of people there. The tree lighting was a really, really cool, spectacular thing to see. And I'm amazed that the residents really get to enjoy that. So it was my first Winterfest, so I thought that was really nice to see. And I know that Santa was there and everything, so that was great. Touched on the hotel application coming in, and we had a presentation from the councilman, but budget season is going to start very soon here in the village, so that's actually something that we'll be working on very soon. And just a general happy holidays to everyone.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much. Miscellaneous business, our next village board meeting is going to be January 12th, 2015. I'm going to have to get used to saying that. Village offices and DPW will be closed on Thursday, December 25th, of course, which is Christmas, and on Thursday, January 1st, New Year's Day, in observance of the Christmas holiday and New Year's Day. That is going to bring us to our Board of Trustees member reports, and we're going to start with your trustee, Stephen Quigley.
Thank you, Mayor. The first is Tuckahoe has joined an organization called Sustainable Westchester. This is a county-wide organization of people volunteering their time to develop what were three main objectives. And we had our initial meeting last Tuesday. I was present, as was Frank DeMarco. And what Sustainable Westchester is aiming to do, well, first of all, the membership right now is 37 out of the 45 city, towns, and villages in Westchester have signed on as members of Sustainable Westchester. So it's got almost complete involvement and support across the county. And there are three goals that we're going to be working on over the next few years to help improve the quality of life in Westchester. One is to help keep our taxes down and help keep the government involvement in our activities down to a minimum. And this will be done primarily through pushing energy efficiency endeavors, such as LED lighting in our village, which we have a lot of right now, and other communities will be able to take advantage of that and the cost savings. Installing solar energy panels would be another cost savings. In some cases, can even be a profit-making venture because you can generate more electricity than you use and you can be paid for that. So these would be some of the things we'll be doing to help keep taxes down. Number two, it will also help individuals keep their costs down. There'll be weatherization programs that people can take advantage of, energy audits for your houses and your businesses. These will be kind of things that we'll be getting grants and support from, so people can apply for those and help make their own businesses and homes more efficient, and obviously save money on that. And the third is to help the tax base. As you know, taxes are always an issue in Westchester, not just here in Eastchester and Bronxville, Tuckahoe, but everywhere. And if we can make Westchester a more attractive place for people to move and open their businesses and to set up their residence here, because they find it is a sustainable county, that it has a lot of encouragement for people to live efficiently, to improve their conditions in their homes, their environmental conditions. It just makes Westchester that much more attractive, attracting more young people, come in here, buy the houses, pay the taxes, shop, and all that. So we think there's some really admirable goals. It's brand new. The first meeting of the Board of Directors is just this week, and we'll be getting directions as we go forward. I will be the representative from the Village of Tuckahoe, along with Frank DeMarco, with the Sustainable Westchester, and I hope that on a regular basis we'll be reporting on some of the initiatives and the improvements that we'll be doing through that. So we're very optimistic that this is going to be a great plus for the Village of Tuckahoe, as well as everybody else in Westchester County. For library information, there's always lots going on, but there's something that it's very timely now, as people are probably shopping Amazon to buy whatever they buy, which is everything. They have a thing called an Amazon Smile program, and they will donate a small percentage, but a certain percentage of the purchases to a chosen charity or organization, and the Friends of the Tuckahoe Library, who are great supporters of our library program, are signed up for that. So if you do purchase anything off of Amazon for the time being, check into their Smile program. It's smile.amazon.com, and then you'll find that you can search around and find a listing for the Friends of Tuckahoe Library. Click that, and then whatever you purchase, Amazon will pay a certain amount of that purchase price over to the library, and that's always a great thing to have support. Lots of kids programs going on this month at the library, no surprise there. There's going to be Scrabble games for the kids starting tomorrow at 4 o'clock for the 5 to 10-year-olds. Legos are always a popular program. That'll be one on Thursday, December 18th, 4 o'clock, again, the 5 to 10-year-old. Miss Elaine is a regular at the for the younger kids, a sing-along. That'll be on December 29th at 11 o'clock. The movie is going to be Frozen. That's coming up on Monday, December 29th. And even the kids get a New Year's party. They'll be on December 30th at 12 p.m. At the library. Lots of adult programs. Probably the most interesting is they're continuing the painting with Dene Ross. They had the first meeting was last Tuesday. They'll be meeting on December 16th and January 6th. Learn how to paint Impressionist style. I think it's not too late to sign up if you haven't done it yet. The very popular memoir workshop, writing workshop is ongoing. Last meeting was on December 4th, but there'll be more of them coming up. And something new, jewelry making, which will be next Thursday, this upcoming Thursday, December 11th. You'll learn how to make earrings. And what's a nice little added bonus to this is that you'll be making 2 pairs of earrings, one for yourself, and then one will be donated to a battered women's shelter. So it's really kind of nice. And it says no skill is required other than an ability to manage the use of pliers. I think most of us could probably, even I could qualify for that. So that sounds like a fun thing. That'll be this Thursday, December 11th at 1 o'clock. Call the library, check in with them to sign up for any of these programs. And there's just a lot of great stuff going on. Thanks.
Thank you. Always busy in the library, for sure. Trustee Luisi.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Costanza brought something to mind in relation to DPW. Correct me if I'm wrong, residents are now to bag or place their leaves in the proper receptacles now. There's no more curbside pickup of leaves. I know I saw a few piles as I was driving throughout the village, so just a heads up to our residents, notify your landscapers that those leaves, if there are any still left, that they have to be bagged or placed in the proper receptacles. Moving along, the seniors have a busy month in December, and matter of fact, the first big event of the month is going to take place this Thursday at the Davenport Country Club, when the seniors will have their annual Christmas luncheon. Then the next big event for the seniors this month will be on December 18th, and this will take place at Father Fata Hall, where they will have a potluck dessert buffet and holiday sing-along with a visit from Santa. Gifts, bags, and raffles will be sponsored by the Eastchester Tuckahoe Chamber of Commerce. And I'd also like to tip my hat to the community fund because I know they sponsor a lot of programs for the seniors as well. Another item is from the Tuckahoe History Committee has wrapped up their participation in the 350th anniversary of the town of Eastchester at the gallery at Concordia College. Many of the maps and pictures that were on display have been donated to the Tuckahoe History Committee, and they are now on display here in Village Hall on the second floor here. So the Tuckahoe History Committee invites all residents to please stop by and enjoy seeing why Tuckahoe was once known as the marble capital of the world. And if you're in a bind for a Christmas gift, they would also like to remind you that historical coverlets are still available at the fantastic price of only $40. And my last comment, I received a phone call from a resident over the weekend, and it was concerning our Christmas tree. This resident was very, very impressed with the fact that we have now planted a Christmas tree and that we will no longer be cutting a tree down every year. The comment was, first, it was an environmental impact that he was impressed with, and secondly, he was impressed that we have now minimized the expense of cutting that tree and moving that tree into place year after year. So he just wanted me to thank Frank DeMarco and my colleagues here on the board for finally getting this done. So lastly, I'd like to thank all the residents of Tuckahoe a happy and Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and a healthy New Year to all. That's it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Trustee Alfasi?
Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Well, Mr. Mayor, I have nothing to report, but I'm anxious to hear from a couple of folks in the audience tonight. Our current commander of the VFW and past commander of the VFW. They have something to bring to the board, so I'm anxious for that. But I'd like to echo Greg Luisi's sentiment. To everyone, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year to everyone in Tuckahoe. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I'll be brief as well. I just want to mention, I want to acknowledge some of the sponsors who funded some of our holiday decorations and some of the things that have occurred in the village. First, to David Pope for his contributions towards the Depot Square Christmas tree, as Trustee Luisi just mentioned. The lights and all the decorations. For Phil Raffiani for supplying the roping and Christmas lights for all of the decorative light fixtures in the village. You know, when you travel down Main Street at night now, it's really very nice. So a little bit of snow on that, not a lot of snow, just a little bit of snow. We just kind of topped that off. I know the chief is rolling his eyes back there and Frank too. We just kind of set it off nice, maybe at Christmas time. The beautification committee, you know, the beautification committee, they supply the wreaths and the lights and roping as well. So they're an integral part of our holiday festivities. We want to give a special thanks to Dennis Licente and Licente Landscaping for all his assistance with the landscaping design of the new Christmas tree and all the new shrubs that are planted in the Depot Square Islands. Dennis and his business, doesn't take a lot of credit, and you would be surprised to hear of all the free services that he provides us all throughout the year in the village. So I want to personally thank Dennis for that. And we want to commend the DPW for their hard work and the police department, especially this time of year with some of the events that we have going on. There's a lot of traffic control issues that our police department dealt with, and of course DPW just for making it all look good. So want to thank you all very much for that. Tomorrow is Election Day. I know a lot of people are thinking, gee, it's December. Why is it Election Day? Well, it's Election Day in Eastchester, Tuckahoe, and Bronxville because there is a open seat on the Eastchester there's a fire commissioner position that's open. So there are two candidates that are running for the one seat on that board. The first is Anthony Laurie Sr. He lives on Wallace Street here in Tuckahoe, New York. The other is Brian E. Keating, lives on Ewart Street in Eastchester, Scarsdale, PO. And this is an election that a lot of people kind of just gloss over, but it's quite an important election. You know, their budget is $17.3 million, which is considerably greater than the village's budget. So, you know what, if you don't get out there and vote, you don't really have a say in how they're spending your money. So it's very important that you do. But what's really important is that you understand that it's not an all-day election, and that's what kind of throws people off guard a little bit. The polls are open from 2 to 9 o'clock, and they vote, it's my understanding that we vote in the community center. Is that correct, Camille?
Yes. The East Tuckahoe residents.
Tuckahoe residents?
Tuckahoe residents
Yes,
are
Tuckahoe,
in,
of course,
are in the
right.
community center.
So we urge everyone to please get out and vote tomorrow. Just a kind of a shout out to put it on your calendar. The ECAP is going to be having their annual Martin Luther King breakfast, which is going to be on Martin Luther King Jr. Monday, January 19th of next year. It will be, as it has been the last few years, at the Reformed Church Gymnasium at 9 o'clock in the morning. And with that, I'm just going to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, because I won't talk to you until next year. And that is going to bring us to the second opportunity to address the board. If anybody would like to speak to us. Yes, sir. Commander Laurie.
Good evening, members of the board, and good evening, Tuckahoe. I could call you mayor, can I? Because
Yes,
I know,
sir.
I know Ms. Camille called you trustee, so I don't know where do I stand.
She's known me a long time. I was a trustee for a long time.
Okay, all right, so we'll keep you mayor. I'm up here also this evening to announce my candidacy for the seat on the Board of Fire Commissioners. It's a 5-year term, unpaid. And I just got a little article that I like to read to you people and to the public. You know, when young boys are growing up, the first thing you would ask them, what would they like to do? I want to ride on a fire engine or a police car. But 9 out of 10 of them will always say they'd like to be a fireman. Sometimes they turn this dream into a deep passion, and they keep it for many, many years. And some of them retire from it. Some of them we lose, some of them sometimes too, which is the worst part of it. But they do work hard, and I know their families always wonder when they go if they ever come home again, such as we had a horrible tragedy with 343 firemen we lost in 9/11. And hope we never forget that. But that passion comes also from a career as a volunteer, such as I did for many years. I've been a volunteer with the Tuckahoe Hose Company for the last 41 years, and I enjoyed every bit of it. I know it takes some time away from your family. It takes some time and dedication. But as our fire commissioners are made up of men who might have had that dreams as boys, but some didn't turn out to that passion. They're all very educated, capable of doing a good job with a very large budget. That is just part of what the fire commissioners do. They must ensure the men the passion that have everything they need to help the community, in which we do live in a beautiful community here. The main reason why I decided to run for the commissioners is part of this, what I'm reading, but also the Board of Fire Commissioners hasn't had a representative from Tuckahoe, I would say at least 25 years. The last man on that board was Commissioner Mike Pinto. And most of them have come from either Bronxville or the north end of town. And Tuckahoe is not representative. And I'd like to be that representative for the next 5 years if I could, and if I could get the people from Tuckahoe and throughout all the community of Bronxville and Eastchester to come out and vote for me. The board needs someone with this knowledge, sometimes a background, whether it be retired fire personnel or volunteer personnel. The people of Eastchester deserve it, so do the people of Tuckahoe and Bronxville, and this is why I'm asking for support of the community to come out tomorrow. The hours are 2 to 9. Hopefully, we could have someone from Tuckahoe to speak for us on that board. In my own judgment and my own thoughts that are in my head, that as long as I'm a fire commissioner, if elected, I'll never see a firehouse close with my vote. And I thank you, and I wish you all good health, happiness for a new year, a new Christmas, a blessed one. And I do want to say, Mr. Mayor, we lost our former building inspector, Mr. Guido Tadera, I think was Sunday. And it's in the paper also. So I just want to hope that maybe we could close the meeting in his honor. Guido was a good man and a hard-working man. Thank you.
I didn't realize that. Thank you. And good luck. Anybody else like to address the board? Yes, sir. Mhm.
I noticed you didn't say past commander. First, I want to thank the mayor and the board for what they did for the Gold Star Mother Bridge. That was a long time coming, and it was a blessed act. But since that's been done, the veterans have been talking about moving the small monument that's stuck behind the parking meter to a more appropriate location. And the one that has come up most was the World War I monument on Winter Hill, putting it on one side of the monument. Then we would also put a stone exactly the same size on the opposite side of the monument, and then for a future plaque. We'd also like to restore that monument. It's kind of losing it with age. But it's more appropriate there because that's actually where the term Blue Star and Gold Star came, was World War I. So we'd like the board's approval on that. We would try to handle everything. We would try to raise money for it and raise money for the restoration of the World War I monument at the same time.
I think it's a good idea. I know we've talked about this. It's kind of lost where it is now. It's over by a sewer drain there, actually. When we used to, before we dedicated the bridge, we used to stand there and, you know, it's funny, I had to give somebody a GIS mapping just to let them know where it was. It's really, it was kind of put in an awkward position there. So I, for one, I think it would be wonderful to have it prominently displayed in that memorial park up there. I'd love to call that memorial park at some point. I really think that, you know, I've said for many years that it would be nice even if that park could become more of a focal point for our students, to have a place to go where there's a story to be told there. You know, the town did such a wonderful job up on Route 22 with their memorial park, and we kind of have, you know, a little bit of, you know, you have to travel all over. As I travel with you every Memorial Day, where, you know, it takes us 45 minutes to drive to half a dozen different locations. And, you know, I always felt that it would be nice if we had a central location where there is a story to be told of all of our former conflicts. And so anyway, it's my thoughts just on it.
With your permission, I'd like to get the veterans together and we'll put something in writing as a proposal.
Sure.
And we'll be happy to do anything the board would like on that. And on a kind of a side note, you know, people are always thanking veterans and thanking the military for their service. And listening to Anthony tonight talking about the passion that firemen have, but it's also the police, the EMS, the paid fire, and the volunteer fire. I think they deserve a thank you for turning those childhood dreams into a passion, because without that, we'd be in a hard place, all of us. So salute to all of you. Chief, thank you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, actually, Commander, just one question. When you're talking about putting a proposal together for the Memorial Park, as somebody who walks past it every day, it sort of is obscure itself. And I'm wondering if you could come up with some ideas. And we have to obviously consider it a sign of some sort, not a big sign, but something that maybe would make it more apparent from people who are walking, because you don't have a sidewalk going by either side of the park. And you've got the busy, you know, Winter Hill on one side and Main Street on the other side. Those are busy streets. So something that would, I think, catch our attention for the hundreds, if not thousands of people who pass it every day to say, oh, that's what's at this place. Maybe I'll stop sometime. So I think if there's some sort of a sign, put that in your proposal, and it's something I think we should
Great
consider.
idea. All right, we'll
Okay,
do.
thank you.
very much.
I
And
think
also
that's a great
taking-
Eagle Scout project if
Yeah.
you pitch
You
that
know,
to the scouts. You know?
Talk to your son about that one.
And take into
Bob?
consideration the new development that's taking place there and the hotel.
Fit right in.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Bob, great idea. We spoke offline, and you know you have my 100% support.
Thank you very much. Have a good night. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a Happy New Year.
Same to you. Thank you.
God bless America.
Yes, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm sitting in the back with DPW foreman Frank DeMarco, who has laryngitis. And anybody that knows Frank, he's dying because he can't come up here and speak tonight. But he asked me on his behalf to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, and Happy New Year. So on behalf of Frank, just passing along his comments, and we wish him to get well very soon.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Chief.
Thank
Great job. Anybody else like to address the board tonight? If not, if we have no other business, then I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And do I have a second for that?
Second.
Till next time, Tuckahoe, have a very good evening.